Hi guys, and welcome back to another championship prediction video. Now, it was a great second round, and in fact there's only two sides, Ipswich and Leicester, who have managed to win both fixtures so far. So it's very competitive, a lot of different results thrown up this time, and that's why I didn't get any scores correct and I only got two results right. I felt it was a very random weekend of fixtures, but that's what we love about the championship, very unpredictable. Now, before we get into the video, I must say I've had a lot of support on the last few videos, especially the Premier League ones, and I've had a boost of subscribers, and thank you to anyone who has subscribed. Thank you to the people who've stuck around for the past few years and carry on watching me. I really appreciate the support, and I hope that we can continue to grow this channel and get fans involved as much as possible, because at the end of the day, it's all about football and bringing people together, because that's what football does. So thank you very much to everyone who is tuning in and new subscribers. But we've got to continue, so make sure to like this video and subscribe if you enjoy. Let's get into my first championship prediction for round 3. And it's Leeds against West Brom. Now, Leeds have had a tough start. They haven't won a game yet. They drew their first against Cardiff with a last-minute equaliser, and they lost 1-0 to Blues at the weekend. They've got two players refusing to play. They can't fill up a bench, even with two goalkeepers on it. So there's a lot wrong going on at Leeds at the moment, which is why I think Blues played them at a good time. They will come into a stride at some point, probably just after the transfer window is open. But at the moment, there's a lot of negativity. West Brom, they lost their first fixture against Blackburn, but managed to get a 3-2 win against Swansea, although they would have been scared from being 3-0 up to making it 3-2, but West Brom got the job done. I think this will be a tight game, but I still fancy Leeds, so I've got Leeds winning their first game 2-1. Next up, the early Saturday kickoff between two South Coast sides, Plymouth and Southampton. This will be a very interesting watch. Both sides on 4 points, and they both got draws this weekend, but very different. 0-0 Plymouth against Watford, very good point. Southampton drew 4-4 with Norwich. What a crazy game. It was back and forth constantly, no defending going on at all, and they both came out with a point, Adam Armstrong scoring a very late penalty to equalise the game. Now, Southampton obviously just came down, Plymouth just came up. I think this will be a very tight affair though, and I'm going to go for an exciting 2-2. Blackburn up against Hull now. Blackburn, they are on 4 points. They drew 2-2 with Rotherham, and they beat West Brom on the opening day. Hull, they got a very big 4-2 victory over Sheffield Wednesday, a game that I think a lot of people had as a draw. Hull managed to put 4 past Sheffield Wednesday. Very good clinical finishing from them. I think this will be, first of all, it's a difficult one to call, but I've got to go for the home side, just to edge a victory. So Blackburn to win 1-0. Next up, Bristol City against Blues. Now, Bristol City, they got a very big win, 1-0 away at Millwall. Wasn't expecting it. Great 3 points. Blues, we got a 1-0 win over Leeds. What a performance. Great defensive display. And Leeds were limited to absolutely nothing. After having so many chances the week before against Cardiff, they had one shot on target all game against us. We were very strong. Jutkovic with a 90th minute penalty to save the day and get all 3 points. Now, this one's difficult because Blues, in the last 5 games at Ashton Gate, have won 4 of them. We always seem to get the better of Bristol City. However, the last game against them at Ashton Gate, we did lose 4-2. I'm going to go for another great defensive display and a 1-0 win to Blues. Leicester against Cardiff. This is a pretty simple one to predict, I feel, but there could be a twist. It's always unpredictable. Leicester won both games, both by a 1-goal margin, and beat Huddersfield away 1-0. Cardiff, I saw fans talking about a promotion charge or playoff charge after drawing 2-2 with Leeds, but that has quickly ended. rest in peace to Cardiff's promotion charge. They lost 2-1 to a team that seemed to have no hope, QPR. So, not great from Cardiff there. They were points that you'd be hoping to pick up. But again, QPR could surprise everyone and get promoted this year, I guess. For this one, I am going to go for the home side to win by a slightly bigger margin. Foxes to win 2-0. In the next one, someone's going to get their first points. It's Middlesbrough against Huddersfield. Both sides have lost both games. Huddersfield lost last time out to Leicester and firstly lost to Plymouth. Middlesbrough, I don't know what's happening at the start of this season, but they need to get their act together quickly. They're about to lose Tuberak Pom by the looks of it for like a 10-15 million fee. And they've got no goals so far. They've lost 1-0 and then 3-0 to Coventry in their last match. A massive, massive fixture. That was obviously the playoff semi-final from last year. It was much tighter then. But Middlesbrough are struggling at the moment. They need to find some goals from somewhere and they need to tidy it up at the back. However, I think they will get their first points here because I don't fancy Huddersfield too much this season. So Middlesbrough to win it 1-0. QPR take on Ipswich next. Now QPR went from losing 4-0 in the opening game to Watford to then beating Cardiff 2-1. 3 points on the board from 2 games. It's what you'd hope for. QPR, they don't have many people favouring them this season. Gareth Ainsworth, not really too proven as a championship manager, but they've got 3 points out of 2 games. It's decent enough. Ipswich are really living up to the hype. They've had 2 difficult games against Sunderland and then a completely new Stoke. And they've won both of them. So very well done to Ipswich. Great I really hope they can carry this on because if they can, then the hype might be real and they might live up to it. I'm going to go for Ipswich to get all 3 points and win 2-1. Sheffield Wednesday against Preston, and this is just a random feeling. Now, Sheffield Wednesday are predicted bottom of the league. They haven't got a point yet, so, they're one of only 4 teams not to pick up a point. So Sheffield Wednesday haven't started too well, but they are making signings every few days now, so their squad will get stronger before the transfer window, and I think that's when we'll be able to tell how they'll do. Preston, they have 4 points. They beat Sunderland 2-1 at the weekend, a good result. So this is an interesting one, but I've just got a random feeling that this is going to end 0-0. I don't know why, but that's what I'm going for, 0-0. Stoke take on Watford, 2 sides that won by scoring 4 goals in their first games, but then in the second game, Stoke lost to Ipswich and Watford drew with Plymouth. So neither of them could pick up a win against newly promoted sides. This is difficult to call. I feel like both sides will have good seasons, finish in and around the playoffs. But I'm going to go down the middle, points shared, 1-1. Up next, it's the Black Cats Sunderland against Rotherham. Now Sunderland have lost both their games so far against Ipswich and Preston. Rotherham lost their opening game 4-1 against Stoke, but they did manage to record their first point 2-2 against Blackburn on the weekend. Now for this one, I am going to go for the home side. I think they are going to pick up their first points, all 3, Sunderland to win 1-0. Swansea seem to be getting all the Midlands teams out the way. They drew with Blues, lost to West Brom, and now they face Coventry. Now, Coventry, although they lost the first game to Leicester 2-1, they were very, very competitive. And then they beat Middlesbrough 3-0. I think I've been very harsh on Coventry in my start of season predictions. I know it's only 2 games in, but I was thinking the loss of Gyökeres would be massive. They've also now lost Gustavo Hamer, but it didn't seem to matter. Coventry looked like a very, very good side. So for this game, I've got to back Coventry to win it 2-0. And finally, Sunday's only fixture, Norwich against Millwall. Now Norwich recorded a 2-1 victory over Hull on the opening day, and then a crazy 4-4 draw with Southampton where it kept changing. goals constantly, but in the end, Southampton tied it up right at the death to get a point. Norwich would be disappointed to not get all three when they were leading in the last minute, but it's a good point still to get against a top side. Millwall will be slightly disappointed. They won 1-0 away against Middlesbrough on the opening day. Very good result, but then they lost at home to Bristol City 1-0. They tend to be better at home than they are away, so that was a shock. I have got this one down as a tight game and a 1-1 draw. So, those are my predictions for these fixtures this weekend. Let's hope we can get at least one score correct, but I'm very interested to see what happens. I'm hoping that Blues can get 3 more points on the board after a great display against Leeds, but Bristol City can have a trick up their sleeve. I'm hoping it's a very good weekend of fixtures for you all, and if you think you're going to enjoy the weekend and you enjoy this video, make sure to like and subscribe, and up the Blues.